The Game Time Network is proudly sponsored by Matt Gaddis at State Farm. If you need help with car or renter's insurance, Matt Gaddis has you covered. And we are also powered by our friends at Wired to the Nines. For any low voltage needs, reach out to them via email at wiredtothenines@yahoo.com. And don't forget about our friends over at Bigsy Sports Grill. If you're looking for a great time and some great food, head over to Bigsy Sports Grill on Brookville Road in Indianapolis. Thank you to all our sponsors for supporting the Game Time Network.
Fan. And I do blame management for why he retired. No offensive line. They never chose to get him any help on the offensive line. And at some point, you're just like, do I want to keep playing this while I'm hurt, or do I just want to be done? And he chose to be done. Eric Ebron, I don't know what podcast it was on, but he was on with Shaquille Leonard. And he made it seem like that Chris Ballard gave Andrew Luck an ultimatum. He didn't name Chris Ballard on the show. He just said, the guy that pulls the chains or whatever, statement that he used. He just stated that he gave Andrew Luck an ultimatum. Either, you get surgery or we move on. And he said Luck chose to move on. Now, Luck told a reporter, an Indianapolis reporter, I did the research. He works for Fox CBS, the news station here in Indy, Fox 59, basically. And CBS 4, since they're merged with news stations or whatever. And it's true. Luck put out a statement saying, he still supports Chris Ballard. What Ebron said is not true. So I'm just curious what your guys' thoughts on that. When me and Daryl first talked about it before Luck put out the statement, we were like, well, if Ebron is saying this, there's no way it's not true. Maybe, there could be so many things about this, right? Luck could just be saying this because it could be true what Ebron said, and let's just, there's no need for me to make this even more messy. I'm just going to put out a statement. And you look at it, the Colts still paid Luck his money after he retired. So there's clearly no bad blood. So even if Luck and the Colts, Luck and Ballard, whatever, in that regard.
Because the owner made that decision. Ballard didn't make that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was Ursay. My apologies. If anything, Luck's probably got the most gripes with Ryan Grigson, who's not even there anymore, because Grigson was the guy that never got him an O-line. Ballard had 1 year with Andrew Luck, and then the next year he retired. So I think it is interesting. Everyone's really negative on Ballard in Indiana. I think the three men on this panel feel the same way as the state does about Ballard. But you take off the angry red glasses that everyone wears about Ballard. He had 1 year with Luck. So this story is a little murky after getting some context from Luck and kind of thinking it through. What are your guys' thoughts?
I don't know Eric Ebron. I don't know Andrew Luck.
Yep.
But the way this came out, I would expect, if I'm Andrew Luck, who's always taking the high road, he's never take the controversial road. I would expect him to say what he said if he didn't want that shine being taken away, right? So I expect that. I accept that. I don't. If Eric Ebron is lying, my thought initially was, why would he lie? There's no reason. Luck's been gone, 7, 8 years, however long many years it's been. I don't understand where this is coming from, right? Maybe it started with a conversation because Shaq Leonard was ex-coach. So that's why they tied in with Eric Ebron. They were teammates.
Yep.
So with that said, there may have been conversation prior to that part where Eric Ebron started speaking, right? But we look from afar. They're right. Here are the facts. They didn't get him protected. He continued to get hurt. And he said, I remember when he quit, he was tired of having, to get surgery and rehab. He said that.
And Ebron said on the show, I think they both had bone spurs or something at that point.
That just kind of ties in with what Eric Ebron said, is all I'm saying. He said himself, he was tired of being hurt. He was tired of being injured, tired of having a rehab. When he quit on the Colts, he said that then. So I don't think it's that big of news, to be quite frank. I'm just saying, I don't think it's that big of news.
We live in Indy. It's local. It's being talked about. So I did want to bring it up a little bit here. But this was the reporter, Mike Chappelle. He works for Fox 59.
He's the main news guy for the Colts, though. He's their guy.
Luck gave out a statement. He said, Chris and I have a wonderful partnership, especially through my decision to retire, and we remain close. Luck told Chappelle, any notion of internal pressures that influence my decision are without merit. Here's a quick quote from Ebron. He said, he, meaning Ballard, tells Andrew, you're either playing this year or we're moving on. Andrew Luck now says, I'm not going to be ready. I'm tired of playing with pain. I retire. So a lot of interesting back and forth. Ramon, your thoughts?
That's interesting. He said that either you're playing this year. They're saying that he said either you're playing this year or we're moving on.
Yeah.
Right. I can see that.
Yeah, a little.
I could definitely see that. And
Especially
I don't.
NFL.
And bingo. And I don't say that this is him moving him toward retirement, pushing him toward retirement. This is him saying, "Hey, look, my job could be on the line. I got to start winning. Well, I need a quarterback. Well, I need something. I need to make some kind of move to show that I'm trying to win. And if you can't play, and I'm relying on somebody else, I got to make a move."
Mm-hmm.
You know. And then I can see the other hand of a quarterback saying, "Hey, look, I'm not going to be ready to play. You're not going to jeopardize my possible career, my health, my life after this game, just for a career move for you." So I can see, as in the words of my boy Scott Nichols, two things can be right or true.
Yes.
You know
and
so
as
they
we
can be interpreted two different ways.
And to help you, Ramon, there's a guy named RG3 who was hurt, who was asked to go out there and play with a brace on his knee, having a superb rookie year.
Yep.
So don't act like, I know, we got Goofy over here acting like, everybody's against the Colts.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
He went out there as a hurt player. He had nothing else to prove. The Washington Redskins at the time were not a Super Bowl contender. That ultimately put RG3's career in peril. Facts, not feelings, facts. And for us to say, "Oh, there's no way an honorable guy like Chris Ballard would say that," you're out your damn mind. You're looking through rose-colored glasses, because we've already seen, and I'm just talking about RG, and it just so happens they were in the same draft, by the way.
Yes.
Same draft. So just be careful about supporting these organizations and all these things when you don't know all the things. But when we look on the court field, or playing surface, that's what RG3 did. He played himself into a situation where his career was derailed. That's a fact. That's not a feeling. That's a fact.
And I just want to say, Daryl's not the only one negative about the Colts.
I'm not negative. I'm factual. Damn the negativity.
No.
What about saying there was negative of a feeling?
I'm just saying, like, I just don't understand the love fan affair that this organization has when you have two better organizations being run right now. The Fever were just in the conference finals. Pacers just went to the finals, and we're still talking about Daniel Jones and Alex Pierce getting paid. I don't want to talk about the Colts. I just don't. What is there to talk about with this organization? They can't find a quarterback. We've been on the quarterback carousel for about a decade. Why are we still talking about the Indianapolis Colts? They're the least relevant franchise right now, and we're still talking about, they'll find their way. They'll find their way. If Ballard is still there, we're not going to find our way. They're just not going to work. I'm over talking about the Colts and giving them pass after pass after pass after pass, because you know what I hear all the time when I work at Kroger? All I hear is, the Pacers suck again. The Pacers suck again. But then I hear people talk about the Colts and they say, we'll be back. We'll be back. Really? We'll be back? But the Pacers have a bad year after losing their star player. It just goes to show that this basketball town doesn't even pay attention to the NBA team that lost their star player in the finals, but we're still paying attention to the Colts? What are we doing?
Man,
it doesn't make sense to me.
You said
that, the Pacers suck. The Pacers suck. After they just got back to the finals, Tyrese goes down. You know what I've heard all year? I knew it was a one-year ruse. Clearly, you don't watch the Pacers, and you're the same guy telling me that the Colts are going to find their way. I don't want to hear that. And we're supposed to be a basketball state.
Man, when you said all I hear in Kroger, I thought you were going to say clean up at aisle 3.
But it's just so. Why do we defend the Colts? Like this city defends the Colts so much. For just bad decision after bad decision. Like I bought into Carson Wentz a little bit because I said, okay, maybe he just needs a fresh slate. But since then, I mean, I haven't bought. I'm not buying into this anymore.
Let me tell you why they defend the Colts, man.
Hey, Reggie feeling himself today, y'all.
Reggie, Daryl's not here 1 week. I will be on Bias with the Little Truth. We'll nip this Colt stuff in the bud.
The reason they defend the Colts, man, is because the Colts are like the last team to win a championship in this city.
20 years ago, officially.
Hey, I'm just telling you, and they starving. They thirsty for it. They still
Well, it's
living in them
because
days.
the NFL is the biggest game in the country, right? That's why. This is absolutely a basketball state, 100%. But the NFL supersedes anything NBA. It just does.
It does.
And as a Pacer fan, I hate to say that, but it does. I'm NFL centric. When come July, y'all know how lit we were last July.
Yes,
we're gonna be just as lit like coming July, going through as I'm saying, Isaiah, through January.
Yes,
I'm talking about the WNBA.
We'll talk about the WNBA too, but that just goes to my point. The Fever and the Pacers over the course of the last 10 years have been more successful than the Colts have been in I don't know how long. Colts haven't been relevant since Andrew Luck. Right? Like let's just call it like it is. The Colts got to the AFC Championship, and then obviously Deflategate happens. And I admit I was so happy that the Colts got there. But other than that 1 year, what else have they done? What else have they truly done? This organization, I mean, and even then the Luck years are basically cut out because I'm talking about a 10-year span, 2016 to now. By 2016, Luck was having these injury issues, and Matt Hasselbeck was leading us to 8-8 seasons. So you take the course of 10 years, the Pacers lucked into a good season with Oladipo. The Fever were coming out of the Tamika Catchings era, and we're coming off a championship in 2012, by the way. And we're still trying to give the Colts a pass. No, I'm not giving the Colts a pass because then you pay Alex Pierce, who I don't think is better than Pittman, but everyone's telling me all of a sudden that Pierce is going to be eons better than Pittman now, and that Daniel Jones is going to be our guy. Seriously, he's coming off an Achilles injury, and we're betting on Daniel Jones. But then we've got people saying, "Oh, Anthony Richardson was never going to work out." Well, I wonder who those people are because they probably have a certain hat on that are saying that. So I just don't want to hear this about the Colts anymore. I'm over it. I'm tired of giving the Colts a pass. Over it. Calling it like it is.
Listen,
I'm over it.
What you said.
I'm just like the Indy Fuel are better.
All we're doing is just talking about what we see, not how we feel.
I don't hate the Colts. It's just
and to your point, in the last 10 years, the Pacers and the Fever have been better organizations ran than the Indianapolis Colts. That's not, we hate the Colts. That's just a fact. That just because you don't win a title doesn't mean you're poorly ran. But if you won't have the playoffs in 7 years, and you got the same GM, and you've got 8 quarterbacks since Luck is retired who started for you, that says a little something. And we can feel how we want.
This is always on my chair when we do the show. I don't hate the Colts. I want the Colts to be good. That's not what I'm. That's
Could
not.
That be what the dogs are barking at when they come in?
Maybe, I don't know, but I don't hate the Colts. I want the Colts to be better, but I'm tired of the passes that the city gives them for being mediocre. The same way I jumped on the Heat last week. It's about that. We're fine with mediocre. That most of the city seems to be fine with it, and then you've got real Colts fans, a lot of them that live in my house that say, "What are we doing?" Right? Same thing with what are we doing? But we're still giving Ballard a pass. We're giving the organization a pass. No, we're not giving them a pass because nobody gives the Pacers a pass. Every casual that I talk to seems to always give the Colts a pass, but with the Pacers, it's well, that was a one-hit wonder. Clearly, you were just there because you heard we got to the finals, and you weren't really caring about the games. But you care about the Colts so much. Okay. All right.
Hey, just so y'all know,